16,000. Which of these square numbers also happens to be the sum of two smaller square numbers? 16, 25, 36, 49.
This is hard to do math when you're sitting up here.
Ryan, take your time, okay? You have a lot of time.
I'm trying to think here. You know, it's under a lot of pressure right now. I'm going to ask the audience.
No problem, audience. Ryan really needs your help here. If you're ready, vote now. Okay, 50% believe it is 16, 30% say 25, and 19 for 36, and just 1% for 49. Check with the AOL Listening Messenger crowd. 45% of them say 16, 23 for 36, 22 for 25, just 10% for 49. So they both agree, but the number isn't great. And I just want to remind you, Ryan, that you do have other lifelines if you need them, because should you miss it, you would drop down to 1,000. I don't know where your head was at before you asked the audience. Were you leaning toward anything? Can you figure it out based on what you're seeing here?
I'm gonna go with the audience in this, and I'm gonna say A, final answer.
Oh, Ryan, the audience is not right. I'm sorry. It was B. It was 4 squared plus 3 squared is 16 plus 9 equals 25.
Alright guys, so moral of that story is this year around Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you call me and not ask the audience because I need the answer to that one. Just saying. So, alright guys, what we're going to do here is take a look at our next section of notes, which is actually about square roots, so I thought that was appropriate. But let's take a look here at our first daily questions to get things rolling. Find the length of one side of a small square parking lot whose area measures 320 square feet. Write your answer as both a radical and decimal. So the area is side squared for a square. They're telling you the area is 320. You want to know the side of your square, or like the length of it rather. Square root both sides. So S equals the square root of 320. Now if you're doing a calculator, this is nice and easy. We just hit second, square root, 320. 17.89 if I was rounding it up, which would be 17.89 feet, because it's just the side length. If you were breaking this down though, okay, you could go root 16 times root 20. Alright, root 16 is 4. Root 20 I can break down again to get root 4 times root 5. This is 2. So 4 times 2 times root 5, 8 root 5 feet. Okay. Yes, square roots are back. Okay, so we are going to be spending a lot of time with them. So I will show you guys a little bit later. Well, I'm sure you guys seen from yesterday about breaking down square roots. It's all good. Okay. Calculate the product of 6 and root 10. Write your answer as simplified radical. When it says product, that means multiply. So you can multiply under the radicand. We get root 60. All right. When you're breaking this down, 4 can go into it 15 times. And then the square root of 4 is 2. You can check out root 15 to see if any perfect square goes into it. You can try as hard as you like. You are not going to find any. So that would be your answer, okay, to root 15. Please make sure again that you are stressing when you square root a number, you get rid of that radicand. It's now just a regular number. 2 and square root of 2 are not the same thing. Just be careful. Alright. Today we are on to solving equations with this. This is actually, I feel personally, a lot easier than factoring and anything else we've done in this chapter so far. The important thing to remember is you have to get x squared by itself, okay? That's going to be the #1 mistake that people are going to make in this unit, so be careful, okay? 5x squared equals 100. Before I can square root both sides, I have to get rid of that 5. Well, divide both sides by 5. X squared equals 20. Okay? Now I square root. When you square root both sides of an equation, very important to note, we get x equals plus or minus. Okay? And I can break this down. Root 4 goes into it 5 times. So x equals plus or minus 2 root 5. This plus or minus is huge. If you do not have it, you are losing points because there are 2 correct answers here. The best way I can explain it, I'm going to come up here at the top real quick. If I have, say, x squared equals 4, and I square root both sides, it's plus or minus 2 for my answer. Why? Because 2 times 2 is 4. But negative 2 times negative 2 also gives me 4. Negative times negative, alright? This is for all even-powered roots, so keep that in mind moving forward. Number 2, here's an extra step, alright? Before I divide by 2, I have to get rid of the junk that's beside it. So subtract 5 from both sides. 2x squared equals, I believe this is 36, okay? Again, you might be like enticed to like square root here because square root of 36 is 6. However, don't do that just yet. Divide both sides by 2. X squared equals 18. Alright, now we're good to square root. Don't forget your plus or minus. Root 9 times root 2, which gives me 3 root 2. Okay? Good, simple enough. Okay, just again breaking down square roots. Number 3, actually this problem looks crazy hard, and I'm willing to bet that half of you guys are going to start foiling this out. Please don't do that for a problem like this. Here's why. Divide both sides by 2. X minus 3, the quantity squared, equals 4. Now just square root left, square root right. Okay, you can square root a binomial. That's fine. You just get x minus 3 underneath it. On the right I got plus or minus 2. If I add 3 over, check this out. 3 plus or minus 2. There are 2 answers here. Do not circle this, because it's saying 3 plus 2 is one of your answers. That's 5. 3 minus 2 is one of your answers. It's 1. There's your 2 answers. X equals 5, x equals 1. Okay? Again, don't just circle that. Simple math like that I expect you guys to be able to handle. 4 and 5, much the same. Alright, divide both sides by 8 over here. X minus 5, the quantity squared, equals 11 over 5. Square root left, square root right. Be careful here. Oh, it's an 8, not a 5. I don't know why I wrote a 5 down. So I get root 11 over root 8. Okay. Before I add this 5 over, I want to rationalize this, so I'm going to do a little thought bubble. Root 11 over root 5. I keep writing down root 5. So I have to multiply top and bottom by root 8. Do it again. I don't know what's going on right now. My mind is losing me. Root 88 over root 8. I'm sorry. Root 88 over 8, because when you multiply square root of 8 times square root of 8, you just get 8. This is good. Okay. Now I can break down the top part. I can break it down to root 4 times root 22 to root 22 over 8. Okay. So now back onto the problem. Plus or minus 2 root 22 over 8. Simple as it goes. Add 5 over. It's going to look weird, but you get 5 plus or minus 2 root 22 over 8. Okay. So it's all right that it looks this messy. I want it left like this. I don't want square roots, or I'm sorry, I don't want rather decimals in there. Okay. Let's check out number 5. Add 6 over. 12, 3x plus 2, the quantity squared, equals 24. Divide both sides by 12. Okay. Square root left, square root right. 3x plus 2 equals plus or minus root 2. Again, be fair warned, it's going to look a little ugly. Subtract 2 over. I get negative 2 plus or minus root 2. Notice I keep the root 2 always tacked on the end. It's just a good habit to get into. Finally, I'm going to divide everything by 3. I get x equals negative 2 plus or minus root 2 divided by 3. I I know this looks different, but look, I'm just keeping everything separated. It's all I'm doing. Okay? Very good. On to the back. A couple of 2-word problems for us, and we're all good. During a field trip to the Empire State Building, a student drops a penny from the top of the observation deck. Using the equation d equals 1/2 at squared, where d is the distance traveled by the penny and a is the acceleration rate due to gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared, calculate the time t it takes for the penny to hit the ground. Assume that the observation deck is 325 meters above the ground. So d is the distance traveled, so we're talking about 325 there. Okay, so I'm putting in for d 325, 1/2. My 9.8 is my a, t squared. So all I'm doing here, and this is for all my word problems, I want calculator use. I don't want you using perfect squares. Half of 9.8 is 4.9. Divide both sides by 4.9. 325 divided by 4.9. It's probably going to give me a long decimal. So I get t squared equals this, 66.326533061. Square root it now. Square root left, square root right. 8.14. Alright, this might be one of the most important things about the entire notes today. Your answer is plus or minus 8.14 seconds. However, which one of these two do I not want? Hopefully you guys are all in unison with this when I say positive 8.14 seconds. You can't have negative time. So yes, I'm stressing to you guys the plus or minus aspect, but when we're doing real-world applications of quadratics, which we're going to do a lot, you have to take in consideration that what makes sense. Okay, you can't have negative time. You can't go back in time unless you're, God DeLorean and you're traveling at 66 miles per hour and you're using the flux capacitor. Completely off related there though, but that's not in this class. So, all right. Number 2. Building codes often require that buildings be able to withstand a certain amount of wind pressure. The pressure P in pounds per square foot from wind blowing at S miles per hour is given by P equals 0.00256 S squared. A 2-story library is constructed that is required to withstand wind pressure of 20 pounds per foot squared. Under this requirement, how fast can the wind be blowing before it produces excessive stress on the building? Okay, so the S is the stress on the building, okay, or how much is the S is the miles per hour rather. So I'm plugging 20 in for P. Guys, these are some of the nicest word problems you're going to get the entire year. Please capitalize on them. Okay, so like all you are doing is looking at the equation they give you and solving for a variable. So, I mean, you're just putting stuff in. It's nothing more difficult than substitution. As far as the math goes, it's the same exact thing as the front. Square root left, square root right. Hoping you guys are getting better with the second answer aspect of it. We get S equals 88.39. Okay. And actually, I think I messed up. When I said DeLorean traveling 66 miles per hour, I'm sorry, with 88, I believe. I'm really sorry. I'm pretty sure it's 88. No, I'm really having a bad day if I can't remember that. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, but anyway, the S is in miles per hour. MPH. Okay. 88.39. Again, I kind of skipped one little step here. I should have put a plus or minus here. But again, do I want a negative miles per hour for speed? No, you can't have that, okay? So, I mean, if you don't show me the plus or minus up here for these word problems, that's fine. But I need you guys to remember for all of these, you need plus or minus when you're solving equations with square roots. It's very important. So, again, isolate your x squared. Okay, get it by itself, whatever you do, just like you would normally with x. And then the opposite of squaring something is square root. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys that question probably 100 times over the course of next week. What's the opposite of square root? Squaring. What's the opposite of squaring? Square root. It's just like the opposite of adding and subtracting, and so on, so on. Okay? Alright, great Scott, running out of time. Get it? Reference Back to the Future. No? Alright, trying here. Alright, have a wonderful day, and remember, good luck. We're all counting on you.